Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me today. Now, the other week, Rachel at Roxy Creations did one of her challenges that she's been running throughout the year. I did a couple at the start and then haven't been doing them. This one really appealed to me. So it'll go under the hashtag of Roxy's Weekly Challenge. Excuse me. She made little pockets using up her book pages and all the rest with different fronts on them, and they were just awesome. They work in your journal so well as either a full adhered pocket, I've got none of my journals sitting here, or as an actual full piece. So something like this. As I said, I just loved them and I thought I'm going to have to do more of them. But my take on them. Now, when she did hers, she used vellum on the front. I've been playing around with lots of different bits and pieces, and as I said, fell in love with these things. So a lot of mine have got acetate on the front. They will go into a tuck, or they can be adhered in. And so here's a tag that I just went through my scrap bin, made up a tag. So it's got pattern paper, just some scraps out of there, and some lace, and then they sit in like so. So as I said before, this could be adhered to your journal on the page, make them in all sizes, or it can actually just go into a pocket or a tuck. That's what I want to do today. They were just so awesome and so quick and so easy. It's something that you can sit there and make up and have sitting around. But I came up with a couple of other ideas. As I said, she had vellum on the front of hers. I have no vellum. None. Don't know why. This is obviously something that I'm lacking. But I went through all my bits and pieces, and I had acetate, I had tracing paper. So just normal tracing paper. I don't know if it has a so that's my packet of tracing paper, but I don't know what GSM it is or anything else. So I've stamped on some. I've got some calligraphy paper that I thought I'd do as well, and I've got some acetate, and I want to show you a few different things. So first things first, your book pages. Okay, that's all it is. But what you want to do is trim off your sections where there's no wording. And remember, keep all these because you can stamp on them later and create beautiful little tags and put them on your master boards and bits and pieces like that. So I'm just going to go through. So technically I'm going to do Roxy's Weekly Challenge. Hers take 45 minutes. Mine, I know what I'm doing, so it's not such a challenge, but I just love these things. So whether we go 45 minutes or not, I'm not quite certain. So we'll just do a couple of these ones, and then I'll show you a couple of other versions. You'll find lots of people at the moment are doing this. Lots of different ways that they're doing it. I don't want to go up there, no, do I? So just scroll through YouTube or whatever else, look up Roxy's Weekly Challenge, and you'll see everybody's versions. I know Gail Augustinelli did some. I think it was hers that I saw first of all, and then went back and looked at Rachel's. So I've got different sized paper. I need to trim off the bottom of that one. Yes, I've got different sized paper for different sized pockets. Some of them I can cut down and make two depending on what it is that I'm putting on the front of these pockets. So I'll just do up a couple and we'll get them sorted, and then we'll start making some, and I'll show you what I've done with them. So let's have a look. Right, so I've got some more in here. What have I got in here? Well, they're thicker papers, so whether they make long ones. Straighten that end up. That's not straight anyway, is it? That's a bit better. That's because they don't match. Awesome. Oh, well, close to. That one. And that one. Right, that'll give us a few to start with. I'll put my bits in my scrap bucket. Don't need that one. Chuck them over there. Them over there. Right. Oh, I also have some gardening books. Now, these gardening books, just old ones I've picked up at thrift stores, book fairs, etc. But they have the most beautiful hand drawings, I suppose, in them. Lots of wording. What you want is something with wording on it as well. So this one I'm actually going to trim down to where my wording goes. Because I'm not using vellum on the inside or on the outside, I want to be able to see through. So if I do that way, no, it goes that way, doesn't it? See, I'm not a gardener. Not a gardener. Just doesn't happen. All right, move that one aside, move that one aside. All she did for these, and we'll use this one first, smaller one. Yes, I can see through that. So, I've got that upside down. Go that way. We want to make border at the bottom and a border at each side. Now, if you're doing this the way she did it, it's just making the 3 borders, but because I'm actually wanting to pop something in, I need to mark where I want my folds to go. So I want my fold around there to fit this piece in. Then I can trim it off from that. Make sense? And I'll trim that one down to about the same width as the other side. Right, so that's where my, put that up so that the light's not on it, and I'll take it across to about there, so it gives it the same border both sides. Close to. Now, this one will sit in here, and I want to trim that. See, I could have made that slightly larger. I need to make that more into the centre, don't I? If I set that there, that could have been so much larger. Oh well. It's fine. Bottom was right. Alright, so we'll trim that up here. And on this side, we'll trim it there so that it fits into that pocket. And that's just tracing paper, as I said before. So, there. And this side. And then I'll trim the top to actually, once I've stuck them in. Alright, I want to take out these corners so that there's not too much bulk in the corners. That one. And that one. This will go up. They will go over like so. So what we want to do is get our glue. And because you're not seeing the acetate or your vellum or anything like that that you're going to use, you're not having to worry about glue showing through. So normally when we'll use stuff like this, you've got to worry about what glue you use and all the rest, because you can see it going through. Now I'm just going to line that up there like that. Make sure that those ones fold in. And actually trim that down just a tad bit further. Just take a smidge off it, like, oh, that doesn't want to. Oh well, got a little bit. So, sitting that in. Now, I've just used a book page here that was, oh, I don't know. It was an electronics one. So it had lovely wording on one side, but it has all these wonderful diagrams, which you can now see through your tracing paper. So if you're using vellum, it'll do the same thing. Just run that up there. So this was my first thought when I saw hers, and I thought, oh, I don't have any vellum. Yes, I could use tracing paper and give them the design that I want if I didn't want them straight. Straight, plain tracing paper, so I can stamp. You know me, I stamp on everything. Right, and then I'm just going to trim across the top to make the top of my pocket, like so. So there's our first pocket, ready for a tag. Do I have a tag floating around that may fit it? Oh, look at that. So there's your tag, sits in like that. So once you can decorate your tag up, you'll still see a little bit of your tag through this. And when it's out, you've got this. So you could leave it in your journal as a tuck spot for somebody that purchases your journal, or for when you use your journal and you just want to pop things in. So there's one, just using tracing paper. All right, another way, the one I did the other day, you know when you get clear, here we go, you get clear acrylic stamps. Now, with mine, I keep my newest ones in their packet right in front of me, and I use them. Over time, what I end up doing, and I'm sure you've all seen me pull these books out, and I put my clear stamps in these so that I have them all sectioned, and this is my main journal one. Okay, and they're just on bits of acetate, because lots of times when you get a stamp set, they're not necessarily all going to be the one sort of thing. So you need to pull them apart to separate them into books. So, and I'll just put them on clear acetate, and I stamp a piece of copy paper and pop them in. But when I do that, I end up with the little piece that comes with them. And I have one here. All right, now they come with that. So, and like that. And for all these years that I've been doing this, I keep thinking, oh, it's so sad that I'm throwing that away. I'm sure I can do something with it. Well, yes, I can. And that's how I did these ones. So my acetate is already printed. You can get printed acetate, but it's on your stamps. So if you're putting them into books, don't throw that away. So very quickly, we'll do one using our acetate here, and we'll do it to this size. So sit your acetate on, okay, so that you can work out vaguely where you want your folded bits to go. And do it to the size that you've set in. You can always trim them further down, but it just gives you that guide to start with. Setting it in, Sorry, I'm going to the edge of the table so that I can actually pick the paper up. Right. Okay, and they just look a treat. So I'm going to trim these down. I'm going to cut along where that top of that acetate goes. Roundabout. And I'm going to trim these down a little bit because I don't want them too big that they'll take away from my actual design. We'll take a little smidge off that one and a little smidge off that one, and we'll have a look and see how we're going. Oh, those smidges aren't the same. Look at that. So I'll take off the corner again. Take off this corner. And I'll just give it a little bit of extra oomph with this one. So I want to go where my acetate runs down the side. And down here. And then I want my folded sections. Now this would look lovely with a black ink, something if you're using the distress inks like black soot. I've just still got my standard ones sitting on the table, so I have my antique linen, my brushed corduroy and my walnut stain. Go down that side there. Look at that. So let's say we want this one as an actual to go in a tuck, so I'm going to just ink the back as well. Right, so now I can pop my glue on here. If it comes out, there we go. I like to do mine one at a time. Setting that in, making sure that I'm in and even. Pop that one down. Now I can do these ones. These are just such a wonderful little pocket to have sitting around, whether you make them for a specific journal that you're working in at the time, or whether you've just got them sitting there. And I know I quite often have extra embellishments and pockets and stuff like that and tags that are pre-made for the days when you really can't work on a page but you want to do something. And I'll have these things sitting here, and the amount of times that I'll go, I'm now back to a page. Oh, that'll work, that'll work, that'll work. Look at that. I just love them. I think they're just the quickest and easiest thing to do. And again, they use our book pages. So, you know, it's a win-win. So 2 completely different looks. One with tracing paper, one with acetate. So I've got some calligraphy paper. It is slightly see-through. It's a specialty paper that I pulled out, and I thought, let's have a shot at that. It is shiny on one side and very matte on the other, but I reckon I could stamp something on that. So let's have a look. We'll find, what can we find to put on there? Let's have a look, let's have a look, let's have a look. Oh, let's go. Backgrounds, what have I got in here? What about something like that? All right, let's just put this flourish on there. Something like that. And then we can make our pocket around that one. So if I get a block Going to fit on that one. Just. And I get some stamping paper. Mat. And that was my stamp book falling off the desk because I sat it too close to the edge. These things happen. I'll find it again later on. Go with my standard coffee so that it works in the majority of the journals that I do. Every now and again I'll do a different colour journal, but for the majority of my journals I do all my vintagey colours. So I'm just going to set that straight. I'm going to move it over and up a little bit, which gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Look at that. Look at that. Now, from memory, this paper, I haven't used it that much. Yeah, see, that's dry already. That's great. That's my clock, sorry guys. So, and you'll still see all that behind it. So once again, we'll fold up this section. Yep, that will fit in there beautifully. And I'll trim down here. You can just get so much from your stamps, both the acetate they came on and the actual stamp themselves. I'll give that a little bit more. Right. And take up to there. Oh, I've just had another thought. What about actual sewing paper, pattern paper? You know, I wonder how that would work as your pocket that you could actually see through. All right, so this one will go in here. I won't need to trim this one down. Even it up a little bit though, Kylie. Follow that one up there. Like so. And this one, I want to go into it. I don't want to make that bubble. All right, trim off along there. It might have been easier with my bigger scissors, but we'll see how we go. Like so. Beautiful. Right, this one I will definitely ink because it's all in those browns. Can't wait to actually use this one. How about I cut those bits off first? Like so. And that. Ooh, got him. All right. So if we're working on our 45 minutes, does anybody know what time I started? I did look, I remember looking, and now I can't remember when it was. No, I have no idea. No, you go there, don't you? So you go there. Right, and across the top. Okay, so we'll stick this one down again. Hold on to that. Oh, look, I could just make these all day. They're just such a wonderful, wonderful little pocket. Oh, she's very clever, Rachel, to have come up with this. It's just awesome. And I'm assuming she came up with it. I don't know. She may not have. She may have seen something elsewhere and then gone from there. But am I going skew with there? It's all right. Lovely. Looks a bit skew-if. All right. So sometimes you can actually get printed acetate. You can stamp on acetate, but you will need something like StazOn. The archival inks don't work. They do not dry. I have one here somewhere. I can't find my StazOn. And I know I've got the timber brown in the StazOn and I've got the black, but I haven't used them for years because I haven't actually stamped on acetate for, couldn't tell you when. So last night I sat down with my archival and just thought, well, we'll try that again. But no, it will not dry in the archival. So I don't know if you can see that. Where's... Right, so you can see that I've stamped a music stamp on that. That was just a piece of plain acetate, but it is still a little bit wet. Now that was done 12, 14, probably 16 hours ago. I know StazOn does dry properly on acetate, but as I said, I can't find mine, so that'll need a little bit more trimming. But you can stamp on your acetate and do any of your designs that way. Look at that. Oh, lovely. Right, so we've done calligraphy paper, we've done tracing paper, we've done acetate. But that was acetate that your stamps already come on. So I've got, like, this is a sheet of printed acetate. Some printers, and I can never remember which ones, whether it's inkjet or toner or whichever one. There are certain printers, and you'll need to look it up, that will print on acetate. So you can do it that way. I think this Alice one, again, if I set that under there, I think this would make a beautiful pocket. And I've had this acetate for, oh look, I couldn't tell you how long. So my top's going to be directly on that border. And I want a little bit of a border down each side for my book page. So each side, and a little bit at the bottom as well. It's not straight, but you know, we get the gist. So I'm just gonna cut another one of these up. It's got to be coffee time, I think. Desperately need coffee. We'll go that side. I'm thinking, then I know that it at least goes exactly onto my wording. This would look beautiful as well with sheet music. Yep, we'll use that as the bottom. So let's have a look. Yeah, she looks nice on there. I don't want that too high because I don't want to lose I might actually, I don't want a piece of plain under there either. So let's trim that back down to here. I've got lots of room. I've got lots of excess book paper. It's not as though I need to worry about losing that little bit. So we just want a small border on this one. And it's thicker book paper. So it doesn't bend quite as well. And of a morning, which is what it is now, my fingers are not wonderfully crash hot. Right. Yep, lovely. So I can still see that border. Okay. So just going to fold that. Sorry, I keep taking that off shot, don't I? There. And then I can trim these down. and there. Right. And we're going to trim it. Big scissors, big scissors. Kind of straight across there. Lovely. We'll trim that further down in a moment. All right. And as I don't trim straight with my big scissors, we'll go back to this one. And I just want a small border. So if I lift, I don't know if I can turn that around that way. That's where my fold is. So I just want to come back a little bit. Let's have a look. Oh, yep, beautiful. Right, same with the other side. So going down, that's where my fold is. Going back a little bit. All right. Because there is a precise method, not. So you'll sit in here. Oh, could have given that one a little bit more. Oh well. How's that? I like that one. And I'm not going to ink that one. We'll just take off our corners and then we'll do one more, which is with the gardening book. Because then you get that bit looking through, and we might try that with a little piece of sewing pattern paper, because you should be able to see through that. So might help if I go straight on the edge, but anyway. Right, sitting this down here, sitting those in, just so I can make sure I've got it in the right area. Yes. Right. So one more. Finish this one off. And all right. It doesn't have that big border on it, but that was because of where I've cut it out from the full sheet. Hold that down because it doesn't have that much meat to it. And your normal glue will hold the acetate. If you're concerned, you could use double-sided tape. But for the most part, I've found that the glue does hold it. I do need to trim up the top to make that a little bit more even. I'm out up there. I reckon I can do it with scissors. Oh, this is just asking for trouble. Oh, look at that. Right, last one. I'm just going to put the lid on the glue while I muck around with this one because it's just a thought. So, let's have a look. Here's my book page with my pretty Cymbidium. As I said, I'm not a gardener. All right. Now you could use the white or you could use this colour. This is just the one that I've got sitting beside me where I've been working. But what I want is a non-written on piece. So I just chop some out. Usually I tear it or chop it so that we've got straightish edges. Right. So, yes, see, we'll see that beautifully. This one I'm actually just going to fold and then I can cut that one to size instead this time. What I'll need to do, I reckon, is put a top fold on the sewing paper just to give it a bit more thickness. Oh, I'm all over the show there. Right, trim out these bits. We don't need to know what name it is, because for me, I'll never use that name again. Hybrid. Yes, I know the word hybrid, but that's about it. Right. Right, so I've already got a straight piece there. I'm going to use my trimmer just to get rid of that, because I know it's straight where it's been the edge of the pattern. Does it go in? There we go. There we go. All right. So if I sit that, that's not straight. None of that is straight. That bit is. That should give me enough. To give me that bit. Let's have a look. Yes, it does. Right, so I've got another straight edge. We'll make another straight edge just there. Missed that bit. Best laid plans, mice and men and all the rest, you know. I want that side. I might need to trim that down a little bit. I'm wondering if I put that up a little bit further. I want it a little bit larger. I can go that way, can't I? All right, I'm going to go that way because what I want to do is give myself a border up the top. If I sit you in and fold you over, I can see where the fold is. It is only sewing paper, sewing pattern paper. I can get some more. Right. Well, that's not straight and it doesn't fit down there either. I need to trim some more off that. You won't see any of this. But that'll cover that. That'll cover that. That'll cover that. And what I need up here just so it's not quite so hard on itself, because otherwise it'll want to rip, won't it? So let's give it... Sorry, I've got to keep bringing that down because I just can't pick anything up. Can I go there? Can I go another one? I can go another one. Like that. And we'll give that just an edge. I'll layer that one on there, like so. That's fine, that's fine. None of that is straight. You get the idea. If you're going to do something like this, I suggest you try for straight. So, let's have a go, shall we? Now, I know that I've got gaps at the end, so I'm just going to put my glue right at the end of that. Now, I want my top piece to be nice and even, and the rest I can wiggle with, if that makes sense. That'll cover that. Go there. Right. That one. So again, I'm just going to come to the edge and in. I'm not doing that full part. Right. And then this side. Oh, I like this one. I like this one. We've got the most beautiful day here today. It's Saturday. And there's very little wind. And there's complete blue sky. Got so much washing on the line, it's not funny. And it's just beautiful. Well, that's a bit crooked. But I quite like that. Now I could sit there. Where's some other florals? Let me have a look. Hang on a moment. We'll just finish this one off a little bit with some... I'd like to say I'd put the same flower or whatever that one is on there, but it's not going to happen. So now I could do that. Do we want a long one? I like that because that still shows all that. That might be a bit. So we'll just use that one. And I just want to make this bit pop. So I had to use ink in this somewhere. Come on. Right. Just a little bit. Grunge it up. And then we'll call it a day. I don't know how much. I have no idea what time. I don't know. Sorry. Right. That's... I have no idea whether I'm in shot. I'm sorry, girls. Sorry. Make sure that glue hasn't actually gone through the pattern paper. Nope. But I'll just sit that under there while I push my little heart out. Yeah, I like that one actually. So that works as well. So we've used printed acetate from an acetate sheet. We've used calligraphy paper. Pattern paper. I've used from an acrylic stamp the backing that you have for that, and I've used tracing paper. I'm happy with all of those. As I said the other day was how I started, and I just did little ones because the I did it from one of the stamp sheets and it was like that, and I went, yep, I could use that, and I went, so I chopped it in half and actually made two of them. Somewhere? Yeah. Okay, because that was the rest of that one that I had sitting there. So, you know, have a look around at what you've got. If you don't have vellum, that's fine. Look around at whatever else you have to do. There's quite a few girls out there doing it at the moment. They may have come up with something completely different again, which would be awesome. They're just a brilliant little pocket. I love these. I'm so happy with these ones. I hope you've enjoyed it today. I hope you go away and make lots of them. And until next time, happy crafting. Thanks, guys. Bye.